Hello. Hi, this is Tim Bivans and it's SGD113. And today I'm going to teach you how to do the Hello World assignment, which is the first assignment in this course. It's very simple and shouldn't take too long at all. But let's get started. I already have Unity open, but I'm going to create a new project. Right? Often when you open Unity, there will be the last project open that was used there. So you'll often have to do this, right? So we're going to say Unity. All right. Unity, new project. At this point you will see the project wizard, right? And we're going to create a new project. Always name your project something useful. New Unity project is not useful. And always save it somewhere logical. I have a Unity dev folder that I save all my projects in. And in my class, you'll always name your project's last name underscore first initial, and then the name of the project. And this one we're going to call Hello World. All right. So I have that in my Unity dev folder, and I'm saving it as Bivans-HelloWorld. Also, in the project wizard, you will see that there are all these options to import the following packages. For this project, we don't need any of those, but in the future, you may well need some of them. But for now, we're just going to say create project. And we wait while it loads. And now, you can see up here we have an untitled scene, and we'll talk about that in a second. And the name of our project, and this is the platform. For right now, it says PC, Mac, Linux, standalone. All right. Since the assignment is to create a web player, let's go ahead and handle this part right here, the platform, right? So we're going to go to File, Build Settings, all right? And you'll see Web Player here. That's what we want. We're going to click on Web Player, all right? And we're going to change some settings here. So click on Player Settings. And your player settings should show up in the inspector over here. Feel free to change the company name and the product name. The product name, if you have saved the file, should be what you named the project. The important thing, this may not be open when you see it, is resolution and presentation. Right? I like to make my resolution in web players the same size as an iPad screen. So I always go 1024 768. This is partly because I do a lot of iOS development, and partly because the iPad screen fits nicely. That size fits nicely in a browser window. Here you can choose a black background or a white background. I prefer the black. And all right. So once you've set the resolution, we're going to click on Switch Platform. And that sometimes takes a few minutes. All right, and we can close that down. The other part of the assignment, right? It said we needed to create a GUI text and place it and say Hello World in the game window, right? To do that, a GUI text is a game object, and we'll learn more about those later. But for now, let's say game object, create other, and GUI text. And that should put a GUI text object in your hierarchy down here, right? And eventually it shows up in your game window. If you have GUI text selected over here, you can look in your inspector, and you'll see that there's a text property. You change that, you can say Hello World. You do all sorts of things with the text. You can change the color, right? Change the size. And later on, I'll show you how to change the font, right? Furthermore, GUI text are positioned on your screen in basically percentages of the screen, right? So you'll see X, Y, and Z is 0, right? Z is your like layering order because it's really 2D. X at 0.5, if you'll notice, it's halfway right here in the midpoint, and Y it's midway up, right? So X goes across and Y goes up, just as the normal Cartesian coordinates would go, right? So if you wanted to move it to the left, you could put 0.4 in there, right? Or 0.3, right? That puts it more in the center. And you can move it up a little bit by putting 0.6, right? And that puts it roughly in the center. You can also, if you'll notice, you can click and drag these as well, right? I'm going to do that because I don't want that, right? All right, at this point, we basically have the project as we need it. It's very simple. I mean, we haven't even done any programming yet, right? So this whole project is just to make sure you know how to create the web player and zip it up and upload it to Moodle. All right. So once we've done that, we're just going to save this, right? Because we haven't saved our scene yet. And you'll notice it goes into your assets folder. And I'm going to create a new folder for this, right? It's always a good idea to keep your assets organized. So I'm going to say scenes, right? And I'm going to say, I'm going to just call this 1 or hello world 1 and save that. Okay. At this point, we are ready to go back into the build settings. Go to File, Build Settings. Right? And there's one more thing we need to add before we build this. You'll notice that in Scenes and Build, there's nothing there. So we need to add the current scene. And now you'll see that our current scene is added in there, and we can say Build. Alright. At this point, it's asking you where you want to build it to. I suggest creating a new folder called Builds. Right? Actually, I'm going to rename that. Alright, and we're going to call it Bivans Hello World. Save. And it's going to build it out to a folder that we can see. As soon as it's done building, the folder will pop up. And sure enough, there it is, right? Back in. All right, go to build settings, and we're going to build. Once we're done, you'll see that we have a folder here. It says Bivans-HelloWorld, HTML, right? What this gives you is a HTML wrapper and a Unity 3D file. The Unity 3D file is the most important file because it is the actual game. The HTML is a wrapper that allows you to view it in a nice little compact way in a browser window. So if you double click that, it'll launch it in your default browser. Let's try that again. There it is. All right. So that's your program, or your what will be a game in the web player. All right. So we have it running in there. We made sure it works. All you have to do now is to take this, right click on that, right, and say compress. And this is what you will upload to Moodle. Thank you, and thank you for your patience in waiting for me to get this video out to you. If you have any questions, please email me at this address on the screen, and I will see you online soon.